everybody. Okay, so story time. Um, let's start with, let's talk about where we left off. I think when we last left off, Knight's father had died. Ken died, and Monoko took him to go see the gravesite, and it was covered in flowers because his daddy was a hero. So Ken is gone, and Monoko and Knight live with Uncle as like she works there as a maid, and so house and board is basically how she gets paid, so she has somewhere to stay. We never get into her family story, but I kind of want to think like she just was kind of a lone wolf, like she lost her family. So Knight's like her only family. So we'll start off there. So Knight and his mother are living with Uncle. And Uncle had a son. He has a son, and his son got married, and his wife, they had a child, but their child was born sick. And so they had hired many doctors to try to like heal her, but she had like it was like a illness, like it had to do with her DNA. There wasn't really anything they could do. She was just kind of was born sick. So the only thing they could do was like give her some treatment, but there wasn't really, she's going to be sick for life, basically is what the doctor said. You know, you can give her stuff to like help when it gets really bad, and give her some medicine, we can kind of treat her a little, but she's just like, she's got disease, she's just, it's for life. So, his parents, or her parents, her name is Reiko. Her parents hire all these nannies and nurses, and it just doesn't work out. Her mother's really like picky, and she just finds a reason to not like anybody. So the little girl is just having all these people come in and out of her home, and you know, it's hard on her. It's hard on her being sick already, but then it's hard again having to like warm up to these people again. And so her grandfather, he doesn't like that. He's like, you know, this is getting crazy. I'm going to send you somebody. So he actually sends Monoko and Knight to go live with them, to go live with his son. And basically the conditions are that he's paying Reiko to be there. I mean, not Reiko, I'm sorry. He's paying Monoko to be there. And so Reiko's mother cannot fire Monoko. Monoko and Knight are there to take care of Reiko. And Reiko is actually like a year younger than Knight, so I mean, you can't really take care of somebody a year younger than you, but anyway, he sees it as like, you know, here's my chance to be like my dad, to help the sick and take care of people. And so Monoko moves over, they stay there. Monoko raises the two kids together. And she starts to homeschool them because Reiko is sick and Reiko can't really leave anywhere. So she homeschools them. They're learning everything at home, and they grow up together. Knight is convinced, you know, when I grow up, I'm going to marry her. He just has it in his head that that's how it's going to be. And when they're about 8 years old, Reiko, she asks her grandpa, like, can I go to school? I want to go to school. I see the other kids, and I want to go to school, and I want Knight to go to school with me. We want to be able to be like other kids. And so he agrees, and he enrolls them into a private school for like rich families. Government officials have their children there. Top rankings in the military, celebrities, like they just go to the school. And everybody at the school knows that she's sick. Everybody knows that Knight has no money, that he shouldn't even be there, and so a lot of the kids kind of pick on him. And he actually has a bully there, this one kid, he's like the top bully, and Knight tries to make friends with him, and he knocks him down, and he's like, don't you talk to me, peasant, and that becomes like his nickname at school. They kind of call it, well, the bully calls him peasant, and he gets picked on a lot, and him and Reiko are kind of like looked down as outcasts, but Reiko doesn't care. She's excited to be at school with other children, and Knight's like, you know, as long as no one's hurting Reiko, I don't mind. I really don't mind. So they go to school, and they have their bully, and, you know, they just, it's whatever. It's like regular school. Every school has a bully. You either keep your distance, or sometimes there's conflict, but he's never hurt them bad enough to where, you know, they'd have to fight back. He just kind of says things and shoves Knight into, like, the wall, and then that's kind of like it. So Knight's like, whatever, you know, you have anger issues, whatever. They're fine. They're happy. They have each other that they can count on. So when Reiko's about 12 years old, they come home from school, and there's a government official talking to Reiko's mother. And Reiko's mother is answering all these questions, and she's asking, like, oh, what kind of sickness does your daughter have? What are her symptoms? What are her ailments? Like, what's going on with your daughter? So Reiko's mother is sitting there answering everything, and Monaco's just kind of standing in the back. She's just like, her face, she looks like she's upset. So the kids go and they ask Monaco, like, what's going on? And she's like, well, they're talking about, there's a special facility through the government where they help children with Reiko's disease, and they want to take her and try this new medicine and these new special treatments, but she has to pack her things and she has to leave. She has to stay there. She can't come back home until she's feeling better. They have to keep like a watch on her, because this is all like this is all secretive stuff, and it's being tested, and I don't know if I want Reiko to go. It just doesn't sound right to me. And Reiko's mother is just like, no, they're going to cure my daughter. And if they can cure my daughter, then maybe people look at me differently. People look at you guys differently at school. It'll be better for everybody in the long run. And Reiko is like, okay, I'll go. If this can make me better, then I don't have to watch Knight get picked on, and I don't have to watch my mom be upset anymore. Then I'll go. So Monaco packs up her bags and sends her off to this government facility, which is top secret. Like, nobody even knows where it's at. Monaco doesn't know. I don't know if Reiko's mother knows. She doesn't ever tell them if she knows where it's at, if they gave her the address. And when Knight comes home and he asks her about it, she's just like, oh, no, she's fine. She called, or, oh, I got a letter from them. She's doing great. So Knight really doesn't see her, and he continues to go to school, and by then Reiko's not there, so he's actually like, he's kind of angry. It's been like months, and they haven't heard anything from Reiko. Just her mother keeps saying, oh, no, she's fine. So like, he goes to school frustrated, and the bully picks on him, like, hey, peasant, and knocks him down, and he gets up, tries to fight back, and gets his butt kicked big time. And so he's just like, feels defeated that day. And then he's walking back home, already defeated. They like ruined his backpack and his shoes, and he's just like, are you kidding me? And he's getting like really picked on at this time. And the reason he's still in school is because Uncle had already paid for the tuition for him and Reiko to go. And so Reiko asked Grandpa, like, Grandpa, can you just let him stay? And so Grandpa's like, okay. Or Uncle, as we know him, but her grandpa. So Knight continues to go to school, and he's walking home from school that day, and he's already been beat up, and he's already like grumpy, and he's just having a horrible, no good day. And he's walking home, he sees the road to the house, and his mother is running towards him, like tears streaking down her face, and he's like, oh no, what happened? And she's like, it's the place Reiko was at. A government official showed up, and the building caught on fire, and we lost Reiko. And he just falls to the ground, scream, like yelling at the top of his lungs, like just yelling, and then it turns from yelling into sobbing, and then he just gets up and he just runs, and he runs, and he runs like past the house, behind the house where the fields are, and he just keeps going behind the house, and he ends up at the lake behind their house. There's like a lake, so he's pretty much, he hit water. There's nowhere else he can go, and he just throws himself in the ground, and he's just like crying and crying. And a few years go by. He's still, you know, going to school. He's totally emo now. He's just like, he's become so like jaded. Uncle dies, and so he had already paid for school for Knight to finish school. So at least, you know, that was Reiko's last request, I guess, from Uncle, was just please let Knight finish school. So Knight finishes school for her and for Uncle, and he graduates school and everything. And when Uncle dies, I guess when Reiko died, Uncle kind of like let them move back home. And, you know, Knight still finished school. And then when Uncle dies, the family are just kind of like, well, there's nowhere for you to go anymore. So Monoko and Knight have to leave. But by then, he's already finished school. I mean, he was working while he was in school when he was old enough to. So he's kind of been working. Him and his mom, they have a little cruddy apartment. And so he's just living day by day. Just, you know, he's all pretty melancholy. He's pretty heartbroken, but he's slowly getting over it. And then his mom tells him, like, she collapses, and he doesn't understand what's going on. He takes her to the hospital, and they tell him, your mother has a weak heart. And she said, yeah, I kind of knew. That's why when Ken was working on, you know, what he was doing, I was helping him because I wanted, you know, help too. But I didn't tell him. She didn't get a chance to actually tell anybody, so she kind of just, she should have been on medication. She should have, but she just didn't. I don't know why she didn't. You know, adults make weird choices. So then Knight's like working hard. He finishes school. He's working like 2 jobs during the day and during the night. And he's in a bookstore during the day, and then at night he's working at a construction site, like cleaning it up, picking up all this stuff they had done during the day. And he's saving up money for surgery, and he's buying her medicine, and he's trying to take care of his mom the best he can. And finally, when he's about 19, they've got enough money for her surgery. So she goes into surgery, and he drops her off that morning, and he tells her, I'm going to go work the shift. I'm not going to go to the night shift. I'll be there in the evening to check on you. So he goes to work. He drops her off. She goes into surgery. He gets off work, and he goes there, and she's still in surgery. It was like a long process, like open heart surgery. Like, it was a lot. I don't even know. They must have been saving. They must have like been not eating to be able to save. I mean, he's been saving for like 4 or 5 years. And even then, they probably, I don't know, sold everything they had to get this surgery. He just wanted to make sure it was going to happen. And I'm pretty sure he's doing it in payments. He did not put the full amount down. There's no way. So she's getting her open heart surgery, and he's sitting in the waiting room waiting for his mother. And all of a sudden, there's like this screaming, like outside, there's screaming, there's like panic, there's like chaos. You can feel it outside. And he goes to walk towards the front entrance. He sees this very bright light, and then ringing in his ears, loud ringing. There's no sound. It's just this loud ringing, and you could see everything shuts down. Like, people are running and screaming. It's just pitch black. It's dark. Like, what happened? All the electricity went out, phones, everything. Nothing's working. And Monaco's getting surgery. There's no, like, the generators aren't kicking back on. You know, hospitals should have generators when the lights go out. Nothing is kicking on. He's freaking out. He reaches for his flashlight in his pocket, and it's battery operated, so somehow it's still working. He grabs his flashlight, and he's running down the hallway towards where his mother was. And he's running, and again, people are running down the hallway the opposite direction, screaming and yelling and trying to call him, trying to stop him. He can't hear anything. No, I don't even know if they hear themselves. There's just ringing, loud ringing, like your ears, like when something, you know. So he goes into the surgery room, and he just busts the doors open, and he sees they're frantically trying to do whatever they can do, but with the ringing, they can't even like talk to each other. So they're kind of like trying, but you can tell in their faces that she's gone. She's gone. He finally lost his mother, and that's how Knight in Shining Armor turned into a dweller of the night, because he's just like, everything I touch dies, everything I love falls apart, and it just dies, and I destroy everything. So he becomes like this really, he's already a melancholy boy, but now he's just like, that's all. He just, so he just runs. He runs home. That's his thing. When he's upset, he just runs. And he runs home. And so basically, it was an EMP that hit Japan. And there's no electricity. There's no anything electric. It's just gone. Battery operated items still kind of work. And if you have anything with a motor that kind of winds up, like back in Victorian type days, that's the only thing that would really work. So they've basically gone from like the modern society back, it's knocked them down like 100 years or maybe more. So he's walking the streets. He runs home, and while he's running home, people are already breaking into buildings, and the whole city is just chaos. Sure, like the whole country. He's not sure how far it hit. There's just all kinds of chaos. He goes home, and the door's already torn down, and glasses everywhere, and people have already like broken in and robbed, took his TV, and I don't even know why, because electricity doesn't work, but you know, they robbed him, and he's like, they can have that stuff, I don't care. And he just lays down in his bed, and he just goes to sleep. And he lays there for a couple of days, and then he's just like, well, the owners of this place are probably going to show up, and I can't be here. I'm not making money anymore. I'm not, I'm not doing anything. So he grabs his backpack. He grabs like a pair of clothes, and he grabs whatever canned foods he can. And he grabs pictures of Monoko and pictures of Reiko. And he just takes off. He just goes walking, and he's walking and roaming in the streets, and it's nighttime at this time, and he's walking in the street, and he bumps into these guys that are already robbing another house, and they're like, hey, watch where you're going. And he just doesn't say anything. He just keeps walking, and they're like, hey, we're talking to you, punk. And he's just ignoring them, still walking. And so the guys, they swing him by his backpack. They grab him by his backpack, and they swing him around, and they throw him on the floor, and they're like cussing at him and hitting him, and he just doesn't respond. And they start kicking, like wailing on him, like kicking his ass. It's like him and 3 guys on top of him, which really isn't fair. And he hears this voice, but he's kind of like blacking out. He hears this voice like, hey, what are you guys doing? That's not really fair. 3 against 1? Are you kidding me? Come and fight me, you guys. So they leave him there. He's like blacking out, and he can hear the other guys like fighting and stuff. And his head is just like, he's got this pounding in his head, and but he doesn't care. He's just like over dramatic and just over everything. I think at this point he's just like giving up on life, and he blacks out. So then he wakes up to water being splashed on his face. Cold ice water, like splashed on his face. And he starts coughing and being dramatic, like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. But he looks up, And this guy is like, so, still getting your ass kicked, huh, peasant? And he realizes that it's his bully. Like, his bully used to be this chunky kid that used to pick on him. And then he's a couple of years older than him, so his bully like had graduated way before him. So he's just like, wow, out of everybody, my bully finds me. And he's buff now. He's skinny and he's muscular and he's covered in tattoos and scars, and you can tell he's been in a lot more fights since school. And so Knight just looks up and he's like, Toma? And he blacks out again. So that's where I'm leaving this at. You'll have to see what happens next. But so Knight's lost everything. He got picked up in the street by his bully. And that's where we're at. So I hope you guys like that story. I'm going to get into Reiko's story. I'll tell more about Toma because he's one of my characters too. So I'll tell you more about Toma. We'll get into that. He actually is just a floating head right now. I don't have his body. I'm trying to get his body. That's the one that swans. If you go onto her Instagram, she's already painted him. He's got like he's got the little scar in his eye. He's super cute. He should be home any day, so I'm excited for that. And Reiko, I ordered her like 6 weeks ago from Merodol, and so she should be here anytime. She's the Mika sculpt. She is beautiful, and I got her in dark chocolate. So I'm excited to get her. I really am. Her story, by the way, is going to be much more intricate than Knight's, or maybe won't. But you know, they're going to run into each other. Maybe, I don't know. I'll finish her story because to Knight's knowledge, she's dead, but to the rest of us, she's not. We'll see what happened in the facility. She was able, well, basically, she was able to escape the fire, but the family doesn't know that. So, yeah. Alright, guys. I'll talk to you later. I hope you like the story. Bye.